Hello, I am the Irish guy, and Pochettino has left Chelsea. What a disgrace. It's not often that I do this, but I blame you. Chelsea fans forced him out. I don't want to hear the Chelsea fans on YouTube crying into a bowl of posh biscuits now. I don't want to see them blubbering into an expensive cashmere scarf. You did this. You did this. All I have heard this season is Chelsea fans squealing for this man's exit. They never, ever gave him a chance. But yeah, because Chelsea fans are weirdly territorial, they never gave Pochettino a proper go and have wanted him out from day one. They never wanted him. Like, if your mom introduced a new stepdad to you who looks like Barney Gumble and who is still banned from going anywhere near primary schools, you have all brought this on yourself. He's already said he never felt the love. And what did you do to make him feel better? Nothing. In fact, an ex-Kickoff member made, 37 videos demanding that Pochettino should leave? Despite the club losing just one of the last 15 league games, he was still making Poch out videos as recently as 2 weeks ago. It's shameful. I mean, to be fair, Rory, we're not so different, me and you. I don't think either of us are welcome back at Jordy's house. How was I to know it wasn't appropriate to leave a bag of poo in his fridge? Why do you think I haven't been on the Kickoff for months? Lads, the name Rory is actually Irish. It means Red King. No. Mr. Jennings, he should have a red face. He should be more embarrassed than anyone who's bought tickets to see Susan Boyle. Rory wanted Pochettino out as recently as 13 days ago. Get him gone! Yeah, now he is gone, and you're apparently now more traumatized than a child who's watched the Tarantino-style remake of Bambi. You wanted this. You wanted him out. All of you did. Everywhere I looked on YouTube, you hated Pochettino for no other reason than, oh, he's a Tottenham man. Look, I don't care if he was having weekly brunch with Danny Rose and Harrods every Tuesday. I don't care if that man has a tattoo of Harry Winks on his foot. He is still a quality coach. And yet, because of his Tottenham association, you all thought he was about as much use as Peppa Pig. So what if he's a former Spurs boss? Can Chelsea please get their own rivalry? Seriously, stop trying to wedge yourself into Tottenham's battles with Arsenal. Those two are mortal enemies with each other. Not you. It's like how Tom and Jerry hate each other, right? It'd be like if the monkey at the Cocoa Puff box suddenly tries to worm his way into their rivalry. No, I'm sorry. Please stop slagging off the cat. Go back to eating chocolatey milk with a spoon. Chelsea and Fulham should be that heated rivalry. Neither one actually have an enemy. Can they just start hating each other? I mean, just 2 miles separate Stamford Bridge and Craven Cottage. I mean, to be fair, it would be the poshest rivalry ever. I mean, West Ham and Millwall fans probably gather in dimly lit car parks with their beer bellies exposed whilst they prepare to fight each other whilst chewing on a bacon sandwich. Chelsea and Fulham fans would probably just agree to bicker over a game of croquet. I mean, instead of throwing fists, they just mock each other over which one has to pay more tax. West London is posh, alright? This is Pochettino's final revenge. Walking out of the club having won 5 games in a row, having steered Chelsea to a brilliant 19 points above where they finished last season. Fair play, Mauricio. He probably made up his mind to leave at Christmas, but instead of letting Chelsea fans win by bullying him out of the club, he stayed until the end to prove them wrong, and then he quit. Or maybe he was sacked, because if he was sacked, I didn't think it was possible for me to think any lower of Todd Bowley. This is a man who inherited a club who were champions of the world, and he's now looking for his 6th manager. He only took over 2 years ago. But what are Chelsea gonna do now? As soon as I saw this news break, the first they mentioned on the Sky website was Thomas Frank. I mean, sure, Bowley has already parted ways with both a Thomas and a Frank, but please don't squeeze them together. If I were a Chelsea fan, I would actually probably rather see the team managed by Tuchel and Lampard fused together, the managerial version of cat dog. I mean, to be fair, their working relationship would be very quickly ruined the minute either one of them has to use the toilet. Yeah. I've somehow turned Chelsea training sessions into a live-action remake of The Human Centipede. But still, don't you dare replace Pochettino with that ghoulish vampire from Brentford. Someone who looks like Smeagol before he found the ring. Replacing Pochettino with the guy who just finished 16th in the league. It would be, frankly, laughable if Bowley really does appoint this man. I'm half convinced it's just a cost-cutting exercise, so the fans could still use the same Super Frank banners. Just instead, just scribble out Lampard's face and replace it with a crudely drawn Severus Snape. But more on the rest of the potential Chelsea managers later in the video, because honestly, some of them, it's clownish. Poor old Pochettino. It felt like he just spent the entire season just apologizing to the fans. Fair play, Mauricio. Walk away with your head held high, because what you've done this season has been marvelous work. Bayern Munich probably can't believe their luck. This is a club who are so desperate for a new coach that they'd be sniffing around Brighton, Crystal Palace and Burnley, which really is unbecoming for a European giant such as themselves. We've been like seeing a former Oscar winner like Colin Firth now struggling for money, and so he has to resort to stealing ice cream from children at the beach. Go to Bavaria and strike up your excellent relationship with Harry Kane, and to a lesser extent, Eric Dyer. Go and win back the Bundesliga. That is what Pochettino deserves, because this entire Chelsea mess has been a disgrace. I don't want to hear anybody reversing history and sticking up for him now, because you were all at it. Sack Poch, Chelsea fans have had enough. 1 month ago, if you were a football fan and you believe in something so wholeheartedly that you spend an entire season with this vendetta, then don't back out at the last minute. Stick to your convictions. Don't suddenly flip-flop like an athletic banana. You've wanted them out all year, Chelsea fans. You've dug your own grave. The reason I'm being like this, lads, is because this isn't a one-off. This has happened before. Back in 2012, Rafa Benitez became Chelsea's interim boss a few months after they'd won the Champions League. Yeah, I mean, usually when an interim manager wins a trophy during his brief spell, then they usually get the permanent gig. But that was never going to happen, because despite him winning the Europa League in May, Chelsea fans had made it untenable for him to stay, because they openly hated him, purely because he was a former Liverpool boss who once insulted Chelsea's plastic flags they had for a Champions League night. Because of that, he probably could not even bring his own family to a fancy restaurant in West London, because even then, there'd be 1 or 2 season ticket holders who work in the kitchen who would then probably spit in his food, or at the very least, sneak mouse droppings into his soup. Chelsea were so lucky that Jose Mourinho was ready to leave Real Madrid that summer, because if not, you'd have then had to wave goodbye to a proven serial winner like Benitez, a Champions League winning coach, don't forget, purely because the fans made it feel about as welcome as me at Boovy's birthday party. I mean, I think anybody at the club would rather see Pennywise the Clown holding a balloon in the corner than me. But what would Chelsea have done then? They'd probably have fought Manchester United for David Moyes. I'm sure that would have been fun. I'm sure Didier Drogba would love to have been given homework of watching DVDs of Yakubu at home. Actually, you know what? It would have probably been Michael Laudrup, who had just won a League Cup with Swansea. Yeah, it turns out he was a bigger myth than Will Smith's marriage. But lads, Rafa Benitez is someone who has worked with Ronaldo. Pochettino has coached Messi. They have both managed the GOATs. And yet Chelsea treated both guys as if they were Homer Simpson in disguise, just blubbering buffoons constantly thinking about cake. The job that Pochettino has done is bordering on miraculous. Remember how lifeless Chelsea were a year ago when Lampard was at the wheel in that badly advised interim job, which really did put the final nail in the coffin that is his career? Honestly, after losing nearly every week as Chelsea boss a year ago, I think football chairman would sooner dig up the remains of that puppy they buried when they were 9 and eat that doggy skeleton for lunch than respond to Lampard's desperate friend request. When Chelsea finished last season with 1 win from the final 12 league games, showing absolute relegation form to finish 12th, it looked like the impossible job. I mean, the club had just chewed up and spat out a promising young coach like Graham Potter. Yes, I've always known he was a bigger fraudster than those Nigerian princes who send out 3,000 emails a day, but everyone else thought he was class. The fact Pochettino has managed to turn it around in sparkling style and actually make a coherent football team out of what was just a huge recycling dump of overpaid mercenaries. Don't forget, Chelsea chucked away nearly every member of their Champions League winning 11 last summer, and yet Pochettino has helped the club finish above 2 clubs who qualified for the Champions League last season. Tell anyone a year ago that Chelsea would very soon finish above both Manchester United and Newcastle, you wouldn't believe it. They were 30 points behind the pair a year ago. The fact Pochettino was just 2 wins away from getting Chelsea back into the Champions League, and yet he still loses his job, it is truly pathetic. I mean, lads, last season, Chelsea were one of the lowest goal scorers in the league. Both Leicester City and Leeds scored more than them, and they went down. Chelsea only scored 2 more goals than Southampton, who finished bottom of the league. But this season, Chelsea are the 5th highest goal scorers in the division. He's managed to squeeze 17 goals out of a walking joke like Nicholas Jackson. He's extracted nearly 30 goals from Cole Palmer. He has done a wonderful job, so sacking him or forcing him out, either way, it's a complete disgrace. To be fair, it's probably not entirely down to the reactionary Chelsea fans that forced Poch to leave. It's also a confusion over just who he is working for. The hierarchy at Chelsea don't know what they're doing. I think that is obvious. Yes, Palmer has been an amazing signing, but that was not a methodical, thought out, planned masterstroke in the Chelsea boardroom. No, they accidentally stumbled onto him last minute with all the grace and decorum of Mr. Bean on Ice. Last summer, Palmer was not in Chelsea transfer plans until the final few days of the window. Instead, it was all about triggering Michael Olise's release clause to Crystal Palace. He didn't sign, so then they desperately tried to sniff around Ajax's Maverick Mohamed Kudus, but he was already too far advanced in negotiations with West Ham. So then, a desperate Chelsea running out of time, they just kidnapped Palmer, who was apparently in negotiations with Brighton. Chelsea are a club who want to sign any fresh young child with a pulse. I mean, they've just signed another Willian, 17-year-old Brazilian winger Willian from Palmeiras, for £29 million, who won't even join the club until 2025. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chelsea board only signed Willian to copy what the successful Chelsea board did 10 years ago. Honestly, Plymouth Argyle's Northern Irish goalie Conor Hazard, he should probably also wait by the phone. It's a mess. Just throwing money and massive contracts with anyone, with any kid with a fancy haircut. This club does not have a clear plan. I mean, that's obvious when in the same season where Conor Gallagher was made the on-pitch captain, he was also being heavily linked for the mid-season switch to Spurs. It's mixed signals everywhere you look. It's also very weird. Right, back onto the managers then. Ruben Amorim is also on the media shortlist to be the next Chelsea boss. But lads, that man has been groveling for forgiveness in Sporting Lisbon ever since he met with West Ham behind their back a month ago. I think if Chelsea rang him, he'd be too scared to even answer the phone. I mean, he's probably someone who's now agreed to have a tracker on his phone. He's in the same sort of hot water Tiger Woods was 15 years ago. Apparently Chelsea are sniffing around Kieran McKenna. That is a disgrace. I don't care that he just achieved back-to-back promotions. So too did Chris Wilder once upon a time. And now he just contributed overseeing the worst public defense of all time. Imagine being told back in 2018 when both Manchester and Real Madrid were linked with paying a world record compensation fee for Pochettino. Imagine thinking Pochettino would one day be sacked by a club and then replaced with the little nerd who was literally making the tea in the Man United staff room. McKenna as Chelsea manager would be a disgrace. Don't even get me started on Roberto De Zerbi, who I've always said is just Roberto Martinez in disguise. If Chelsea really do go out there and get another Brighton manager, he'll just be a sick, twisted obsession with the beach. That will be both Potter and De Zerbi. Oh yeah, and the Brighton sporting director Sam Jewell, who Chelsea also stole. Oh yeah, and don't forget, Brighton's former bold egg of a right back for 7 years. He was weirdly given one game as Chelsea's interim boss last season too. Then everyone quickly realized he got the tactics of wet popcorn, and so hurriedly replaced him with Lampard. See what I mean? They don't have a clue. But Brighton is not the answer, and De Zerbi is a flighty coach who hasn't stuck 2 wins together since September. Stay away. I mean, no chance with Thomas Tuchel return to the club, who ungratefully sacked him after making them champions of Europe. Jose Mourinho would obviously be fantastic, but they're not going to approach him, are they? Instead, he's getting disrespectful offers from Besiktas, which would be like Michael Jordan now getting asked to dress up as Mickey Mouse at Disneyland for minimum wage. I don't think he wants that as a last dance. Just like a lonely divorcee who watches Grey's Anatomy with her dog. Oh, Chelsea want company. They're sniffing around the Burnley boss again. If I'm Chelsea, then okay, fine. Make the most of a terrible decision and just take a gamble on him. Although, seeing a grumpy goblin like Craig Bellamy now working in posh West London, it will be like seeing an orc drinking soup at Buckingham Palace. But still, I do think Vincent is a quality coach. Someone who learned under Pep Guardiola and tries to play football in a beautiful way. It's just that it is difficult trying to keep possession in the Premier League where you've got a bunch of human sausage rolls. I think he is a good manager. A good man motivator too, and he has an edge to him. But he is also someone who just got relegated. That might have knocked his confidence. You can't replace a Champions League finalist with someone who just went down. You can't do it. And I know that I could be very wrong about company anyway. I've thought all these same things about Patrick Vieira, the manager. Someone who was also indoctrinated with the Man City coaching DNA. I thought he was a future Man City boss. He's since been sacked by Crystal Palace, and now just finished 13th in the French league with Strasbourg. So I could be very wrong about company. He probably needs another job before he gets to Chelsea. Someone like, ironically, a Brighton. Company, go to Brighton to show everybody how good you are. Prove yourself there, and then maybe at Chelsea. Anyway, that's the video. What do you think? Let me know, how bad was this decision? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like, share, subscribe, as always. I'll talk to you in a while.